Recording has started.
Thank you for joining us. We're just going to do a quick overview of the local task force and why we are here today. We are covering the Franklin, Adams, and York counties for students that receive special ed services. These special ed services don't need to come directly from the intermediate unit. We're looking to foster partnerships with special education, respective community, and the county. And we are interested in including all stakeholders in special educations, teachers, administrators, any community employment opportunities or community inclusive opportunities for our individuals. We are looking to be stronger. We're interested in reaching out to more people and including them in our mission to share accurate information and to help people know their rights within special education and to help them feel more included and more supported. So this is what our purpose is, that we're here to provide supports to parents and advocates for student rights, and we're here to share knowledge of special education rules and regulations. So we're going to be able to assist in trainings of parents and teachers. So if you have a training that you're interested in or an area that you're questioning, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to get a training together or connect you with a proper training group. We also are able to review recommendations and communications and share those with you from the state task force. Then we are able to connect you with the proper person for clarification on recommendations and resolutions if you come into a situation where you need more help in speaking about the education of your child. Then we are able to do some of the parent satisfaction surveys to make sure that we have an opportunity to see what is happening in the community and to find out from parents what they would like, what they need, and how we can help bring a collaborative effort to reach all the needs of the children and the families. There is something called Cyclical Monitoring that we're able to take part in, where we go and we talk with the school district, with the Bureau of Special Education, and we have an opportunity to talk with a select number of parents and just go over whether or not they understand what some of the forms mean within their child's student record. And again, we are here to truly support and create a collaborative environment so that we can all move together and we can share as much accurate information as possible. Parents of school-age children with disabilities may have individual issues. Those individual issues can be sent to us by email. Our contact information is always provided. Lisa Kennedy and myself are co-chairs. Dr. Murphy is the Director of Special Education for IU12. Is that correct, Dr. Murphy?
That's correct.
Okay, so you have contact people that we are able to help you navigate things or refer you out for information. Then there are 29 local task forces across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They are within each intermediate unit, but they are not answering to the intermediate unit. This is a collaboration. So it was developed this way so that we could cover the entire state and everybody within the state had somebody that they could speak to. And then we are only as strong as the people that come to join us. And we are hoping to build a wonderful opportunity and collaboration that can really help support our individuals as they go out into secondary transition. And prior to that, the opportunities for our school-age children to build a network of support for families, to actually become that source of accurate information, to encourage collaboration and teamwork, and to ensure that special education paperwork and timelines are understood, and to cultivate community involvement, inclusion. This month there wasn't a state task force. We are required to give updates on state task force, but since there wasn't one, I did want to bring to everyone's attention that the deadline to register for the Pennsylvania Department of Ed conference is coming up. It's February 16th. That conference will take place March 3rd and 4th. It is a free virtual conference this year. Another important change is Act 26. Act 26 is for transition age, and it aligns the current transition practices and gives specific questions that must be answered within the IEP in this section. These are the questions, and this PDF will become available for you to review. Equitable practices. In Pennsylvania, equity has been defined as every student having access to the educational resources and rigor they need at the right moment in their education across race, gender, ethnicity, language, disability, sexual orientation, family background, and/or family income. And there's a website there provided if you would like more information. Our next meeting will be March 11th, and we'll be talking about the transition. We recently have a Facebook. This is the Facebook page for the local task force 12, Right to Education. Please join us. And this is the contact information that is available for you to reach us by email. And you can also reach us through the Facebook page, as well as there's a website for the local task force Right to Education IU12. Lisa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Lisa Kennedy, and I am a co-chair of this task force with Carrie. And what brings me to this work is years of accessing services for my own children who are now actually grown, and but we are still accessing services. And then I have grandchildren, and one of my grandchildren are going through that process now as well. So both of us come to this with some personal experience, and we've been through some stuff, and really are pretty good at chasing down challenges and barriers, and we are here to support you. So welcome.
Dr. Murphy.
Hello, I'm Dr. Murphy. I'm the Director of Special Education here with IU12. I've been here for several years, and this group has so much potential to be of support and really work with supporting families and students with in our IU12 area, and have a connection and collaboration with individual school districts to help to solidify, to ensure that students have what they need. So I look forward to working with this group and its membership as it grows in connecting them with our local school districts so that we can ensure that we can meet students' needs.
Thank you. And I also want to say thank you to Kelly for making sure that our stuff gets posted and our videos end up where they need to be. And I appreciate all the work that she's doing behind the scenes. Today, we're lucky to have Family to the Max with us. We have Katie and Jill here to share information on Families to the Max, and then we will be also sharing with classroom teachers and the classroom supervisor for Project Max classrooms that are already in progress and how that looks. Katie and Jill, I'll share your presentation first, and then we'll turn it over.
Katie, you going first, or?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So Families to the Max is a Pennsylvania statewide network. We were called Project Max, but we're no longer a project. If anybody's heard of Project Max, it was a couple, 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, but we have fully formed in Families to the Max. And we lead change and foster high expectations and presuming competence. Next slide. We are with school-age children in Pennsylvania, but it doesn't just mean school-age children. We're empowering families, and when families, we mean parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, doctors, teachers, paraprofessionals, but we focus on families with school-age children in Pennsylvania, but much, much more. Next slide. We are Families to the Max. Next slide. What is Families to the Max? Next slide. Families to the Max, the state Pennsylvania network made up of both parents and paraprofessionals. The network emerged from an educational initiative based on the idea of presuming competence and fostering high expectations for all students of all abilities. Person first language. So we try as a group to take a word like disabled student and change it with student with a disability, or somebody who's confined to a wheelchair and change it to a person who uses a wheelchair. We found that if you use different words and change it into more inclusive thing, it has helped throughout our years of learning Families to the Max. Next slide. Next slide. I don't, is this a video? You can do next slide because we don't have time. We can do it later. Oh. So we have a collaboration between Families to the Max, Patton, Peel, and Hune. And if you don't know, Hune is for our Spanish speaking. They translate all our stuff for the Spanish speaking families. And then Patton and Peel are also very involved. And we're really grateful for all their help too. Next slide. So our new grant that we got, so before so 6-7 years ago, we were Project Max, which people have heard, and then we turned into Families to the Max. The next grant we got was Pathways to Graduation, Middle School Success and the Path to Graduation. That's a big one that we're just starting, because there's a lot of kids that don't end up graduating, and we're trying to figure out what is it that's causing them to end or not want to graduate. And so we're looking into that, and we have the grant, and we're going to be doing a lot of trainings and working with school educators and districts with this new grant. Oh, so our mission is leading change for our children with diverse needs by maximizing opportunities in the home, the classroom, and the community. Our vision is to empower students, families, and communities to believe that all children can reach their maximal potential.
I can take it from here, Katie, if you want. First, real quick, I'll introduce myself. I'm actually from Montgomery County. I've been involved in my local task force over the years, but more recently involved in Families to the Max for, I don't know, last 7-8 years. Katie there just gave basically the history. I'm a volunteer. I'm a parent leader, work with Patton and Peel and Hune in order to bring this information to you, which I'm really excited about being able to do. So anyway, the beliefs and presumptions that Families to the Max embraces. Next slide, please. Okay. Or that we have networking sessions, and members will provide input on the commonality or systems of beliefs that we come to accept that every child deserves. And next slide. So, and those things that we feel that they deserve is that they're respected and treated with dignity and recognized as a whole person whose disability is only one attribute of their personhood. And every child deserves to be regarded with the presumption of competence, meaning that if you don't open your mind to look for it, you won't see it. And every child deserves to be listened to and provided with structures and supports if needed in order to be understood. All children deserve a means to communicate. And every child deserves to have access and be taught the same academic content with his or her same age peers with high expectations for learning. What is a child with disability, same age peer learning? And then every child deserves to be valued as a person who enriches others through their participation and presence and who is enriched through participation of others in their life. And every child deserves to be prepared for a life beyond school. With a focus on academics, students can be prepared for adult life. That's fine. Go on. You're good. Okay. And then also as families, we should have high expectations for our children to learn academic content. And also that families are partners with educators in making decisions about their children's learning. And so we're inspired to see the possibilities of what happens when people hold high expectations and presume that all children can learn. We can see that when families and educators are working together, educational opportunities are expanded greatly. Next slide. And in our communities, everyone benefits from holding high expectations for all. Dr. Eric Carter published widely in the areas of education and transition services for children with disabilities. And he says, a community is stronger when the gifts and strengths of everyone in that community have an opportunity to be shared. One of the many goals of the network is to spread these ideas throughout our community. Next slide. And our network has also defined presumptions that we hold true. You go to the next slide, please. Okay, sorry. Okay, that every child has unique thoughts, feelings, and ideas to share. We presume that every child interprets and communicates language in many different ways, and children whose first language is other than English, communication may be even more diverse. We also presume that every child has the ability to learn challenging academic content and skills and belongs and contributes to their class, school, family, and community. Family SMACs, principles and practices. Katie, you want to take this?
Sure, next slide. So our maximizing principles are to maximize learning, high expectations, educational placement, instructional materials, and accessing general education curriculum. Next slide. Our 6 maximizing practices are leadership, curriculum instruction and assessment, least restrictive environment, individualized student supports, family and community involvement. Next slide. Collaborating and problem solving. So Families Max, what we do. So we provide awareness and training and information for families and paraprofessionals, teachers, school districts, anybody that's interested in bringing training to learn more about Families to the Max. Next slide. We're big in networking and empowering. Empowering is one of the biggest things that have come through with Families to the Max, because as a parent, you're usually, when you have a special needs child, you're dealing with medical stuff. And so you're running around and trying to fix that problem, and you're not really thinking about the educational process until it sits in your lap. And so we found that a lot of parents are empowered by this Families to the Max and in networking with other parents. Next slide. Leading change and raising expectations. Next slide. Gaining insights into how teachers look at the possibilities and create opportunities for learning. Next slide. And if you want to join us, next slide, you can email familyf2max@patten.net. You can go on Peel Center, you can go on Patten, you can look at our F2Max website, and Jill and I are here too. You can give out our information if you have any parents that would be interested in joining our team. I think that's it.
So I guess if I can encapsulate real quickly, then basically we're here to support families and actually anybody, community, professionals, in any way that we can in order for them to help them and their children to reach their potential and what they see the potential in their children. And a lot of our networking, a lot of our trainings are actually through storytelling of families, their actual experiences. It's not necessarily, it's all based on research, it's all based on, facts, but it's also in how we live our daily lives and how we get through situations. And that's how we help each other. And it keeps it really real, I think. And I think that's one thing that's maybe a little different, or in my opinion, is a real benefit in the F2 Max, what we have to offer. And the collaboration between those entities. Actually, this is the first time that I'm aware of that the Bureau of Special Education, Patton, CUNY, and Peel have come together and working together on initiatives. And that's really exciting. And that really gives a voice and power to what we're doing. And I think that's what, and it's across the state. It's not, this is trying to change children's lives individually, but throughout the state through coming together. So I think I just wanted to share that. That's really the power in Families to the Max.
And we found that a lot of parents and grandparents, and we have all types that come to Families to the Max, they felt so alone until they came to our networking or heard the stories and realized that you're not alone and that other people have gone through what you've gone. We've had a lot of people as kids have graduated. So then parents like myself say, well, how does that work? Or we have little ones that are joining kindergarten and parents are like, well, how does that work? So it really helps the networking and having other parents say to you, you're not alone. Here's some things that we suggest, or have you tried this? Or just empowering and making parents and grandparents and everybody feel like they're just not alone.
I have a question. I was wondering if you guys could talk to a little bit, just because I already know you know the answer. The standard aligned curriculum. I have the resource pulled up, and I was wondering if you could give us a personal story or a story of one of the families that had been shared with us during our training for Families to the Max.
Sure. Do you have it pulled up right now? Okay. So this happened to me. I can tell a personal story. Before I joined Project Max, I wasn't really focused on what my son was technically learning based curriculum. It wasn't on my radar. And then I actually had a second son, and he started doing a regular school, and I was focused so much on what his curriculum would be. And when I went to Project Max, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I not doing this for my special needs son? And so the problem I felt was, oh my gosh, it's so complicated. But it's not as complicated as you think it is. You just have to she's pulled up the standard aligned instruction. It's very wordy and it could turn somebody off. If you're not an educator and you're an average mom like I am, this is very like, oh my gosh, I need a degree in this. And it's not. You basically look up the age or the grade. So my son is in 7th grade. You would look up 7th grade. I don't know if this is 7. So you would go to 7th grade, and then it would pull up what the standard aligned curriculum is. And so for instance, let's just take when I started doing this, he was in 4th grade. And the teacher decided, because we raised with Project Max, we wanted him to have his grade level curriculum. And even though he did not read at a 4th grade level, we wanted a curriculum-based book. So he was getting the vocab and he was getting the content, and his classmates down the hall were reading the same book. And so what happened was we took the curriculum of what that teacher down the hall was getting and we pared it down. So for instance, instead of him reading the book was read to him. Instead of him taking a 25 question test, we based it on comprehension. It was the first time I had ever in his IEP had grade curriculum IEP in there, and it was based on comprehension. And then as we've gone to 7th grade, we've upped it a little bit. So it can be done. It is a little bit shocking once you see the standardized thing, but if you contact one of us at Project Max, we do a training on it and teach parents how to go and see what curriculum their son or daughter is supposed to be doing, and checking with the teacher and making sure it's a grade appropriate curriculum for their child.
Right. And my situation was similar. My child, actually, she's just turning 20, will be turning 20, but she's still in high school. She was included the majority of her time and since kindergarten. And so we use the standard aligned system, which is, believe me, over the years has gotten so much better, so much easier to use over the years. It actually exists now where it didn't even exist in the beginning. But my child being in, say, take Katie's example in American Lit, she was reading the same exact book because she was sitting in the classroom with typical aged peers. We could look and say, okay, so what is it they're working on, and where's Anna's access point? What would she be doing that she would be meeting her IEP goals, whether it was comprehension, whether it was writing, and it'll show you what on that website will show you the complementary skills that align, even if her skill set is not as high as, say, for instance, 11th grade, there's still access points that they'll be working on. And that's what allows you to see that. It's called a sensibilization. You'll see that on that website too. So it just really shows you, helps you think as parents, families, educators, and then you can collaborate and say, well, that's a goal I think we can work on, and then my child can work on, and how do we have that happen? So I think it opens up the dialogue between educators and families if they know that exists.
Thank you so much. I really found that to be very impactful and empowering when I attended your trainings. Does anyone else have any questions? Now we're lucky enough to have Project Max supervisor and teacher with us. I'm not sure who will be sharing their screen first.
I may, while they're pulling that up, who we have with us today is Patty Wysocki. She is the Associate Director of District-Based Classrooms. She is actually, that's a recent position for her. She came from being a supervisor of the program, who main responsibility was working on Project Max, and she's been involved for a number of years, as was, or is, Kelly Oweiler, who is Associate Supervisor with our Special Education Division as well. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for being here. It is so nice to be able to bring it full circle.
Thank you. I'm Patty Wysocki. Kelly Oweiler is here as well. And I was hoping to share a video, but I'm having some issues with screen sharing, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. I don't know, Kelly, if you are able to pull it up and share your screen. I think I might be having some Zoom issues. I don't know if you can find it that quickly or not. If not, I'm just gonna speak a little bit to our experiences with Max. We started Project Max, as it was then, it was 2015, Katie. We actually went through the project with Katie. We formed the first team through the LIU and Dallastown School District. We partnered. Through that project, we developed a mission specifically for LIU. Katie's district also developed a mission, and I'd just like to read our LIU mission to you, so you have an idea of what our classrooms in life skills and MDS and autistic support really focus on when we're working with our students. Through Max, Lincoln Intermediate Unit 12 empowers students to reach their highest potential by presuming competence. We provide students with quality resources and rigorous instruction aligned to the PA core standards. We provide access to learning opportunities that inspire achievement, recognition, and membership in their school community to enhance the quality of life for all students. So that's the mission that our program has really lived by for the past several years, since 2015 when we started this journey. And we continue to train teachers as they're hired. All of our staff has been trained in the idea of presuming competence. As new folks come on, we continue with that. All of our paras also are trained. And we offer the training regularly to school districts as well. And we really are about that presuming competence. We really are about community membership within the schools students are in. And we're really about providing our students with the same opportunities that every other student in a school building would have. Again, I'm so sorry I don't have the video to share with you.
Can you send it to Carrie or someone they can?
Probably could share it with Lynn. If I share this with you, do you think, Dr. Murphy, excuse me, I don't know if you would be able to share it or not.
One of the reasons in all the years that we've been doing this, I think for me, especially the reason that I continue with such a passion with this is because we see the impact that it has in classrooms. And Katie can speak to this as well. It makes a huge difference, not just in the parents in the classroom, but how they view what their students are capable of doing. It's a paradigm shift in how you look at what the kids can do. We're not focused on what they can't do. We're focused on what they can do. It also is a paradigm shift for teachers. Countless times we've had teachers after these trainings, when they've gone in and done this for a year, come back and say, we had no idea our kids could do this. It never occurred to me to expose them to these things because we thought they couldn't do it. And then they were upset because they had those assumptions. And the kids, the pride that they show in the job, they're doing the same thing their peers are doing. They also become more of, I've seen a lot of the classrooms that we work with become more of the school, part of the school community. Katie saw that as well with the classroom that we did. We worked with her son was in it. It expands everybody's experience in the classroom, and it's really, really incredible. Yay, we got the video.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. So this is a
Katie's son's on there.
very, very brief video. He is in one of these pictures. Yes,
Yes,
it's
he
a little
is.
blurry, unfortunately. Very, very brief video that we created. Actually, this video involves some students from Dover School District as well. This was made when they went through the project with us. But it really talks about the benefit that our students have gotten from this. We've seen such incredible growth with students since we've started presuming competence and giving them the opportunity to learn in new and different ways, and not making assumptions that they're not going to get something just because of the body that they're in. So hope you enjoy. It's relatively brief, and then we'll stop talking. Thank you.
The audio's not on.
Oh, my apologies. I was on mute. I was enjoying the video. So we'll try that again.
Zane, when Miss Lisa started using Project Max, did you start learning more high school things?
Yes.
The thing that struck a chord from the very first that I've heard this was the presumed competence. I've often been able to presume competence in functional skills, but I haven't been able to bring that over to the academic side. So if I presume competence that they are still learning their functional skills, I can certainly presume that they are confident enough to learn academic learning as well. It's challenging them to be better thinkers. For literature, for example, we've done classic novels adapted to their level, and they've just really enjoyed that. So if they're enjoying learning, that's what's important.
I'd say the technology that we've learned and how we could use it in everyday life, because that is something that typical students use every day in their lives. I mean, my 10-year-old has a Chromebook at his school that he uses every day, so that they get to see iPads, a projector, get to use the Flickrs app and just be a part of a normal, typical classroom. I'm blown away by what they can do, and I'm blown away by the fact that I never even thought to have them do this. Like, I love that this is something new and exciting that they get to do, and that they're introduced to new topics.
This year I get to go to one shop I didn't get to last year. Shop 5, I get to go to other classes, and we're making a table, and it's awesome.
This year I got to go to Miss Everhart's class and meet new friends like Nika, Jenna, and Trinity, and Anna and Dominic and Austin.
This year my class is sending me to the teachers at my high school. We also go to the elementary school to the coffee.
Do you like school more?
Yes.
Did you like doing the stories and reading?
Yes.
It includes him into like a quote unquote regular world, what his other peers at a regular high school would be doing, regular subjects, math, science, English. He's happy. He feels like he's more involved in the world. And I love to see when he's happy like that.
Stop sharing.
Thank you. Thanks for the time to come and chat with everyone. If anyone has any questions, we're happy to hang out for a few minutes and answer what we can.
Kelly and Patty, it's so strange to see you on this Zoom.
Zoom.
I can't believe it's been since 2015. But the thing is, it's a tsunami effect. I mean, some people say it's a ripple. I would call it a tsunami because, you know, once you get that presuming competence in the classroom, then, you know, I'm out there and now I'm talking to PTOs who are paying for all the field trips. And then they're like, well, how can we help? Okay, well, then it tsunamis into, sure, well, let's be more inclusive in that. I talked to the PE teachers. It's more inclusive. That we've got kids at the high school now are making sure PE is more inclusive. We've got shop, we've got art, we've got, I mean, it's just a tsunami effect. It even impacts bus drivers, librarians. I mean, we had a librarian make sure that all the kids had books that they wanted. So if anything, it really is a tsunami effect, and it is fantastic. And I've just since 2015 been so happy with the whole presuming competence. So I highly, highly recommend it.
What a way to end a day.
Yes.
Thanks, Katie.
It really has changed our practice, I think, in our program. And we've definitely seen the benefits to the students.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for openly sharing the resources and just the effect that you're making for these kids' lives and families' lives, and sharing this with all the families across Franklin, Adams, and York, and whoever else may come upon this.
Thank you.
And I echo those same sentiments. Thank you for sharing your personal stories and experiences around how these things have worked for you, because that's how we continue to push these things forward so that families can have close to as typical experiences as possible while doing the best for each individual child. So I really thank you.
Sure.
I think we're safe to end the recording.